like to welcome Upper Lake and hear the amazing things that are happening at this district and learn from each other. So take it away.
Good morning, everybody, all the way from Upper Lake, Northern California. Can you see me? Wave your hands, get a little bit of energy going on, guys. All right, listen, today it is intentionally, this presentation is non-scripted. We believe in Upper Lake that relationship starts from the stomach to the heart to the mind. It's so unfortunate that we're not there together to break bread and share some salt and drink some water together and some other libations. However, just because we've been together for the last 4 sessions, we probably can live with that. I'll cheer for you with my water in here, and we're going to move to the heart. So today the presentation is completely coming from the heart. My name is Giovanni Anus. I'm the Superintendent of Upper Lake Unified School District, and we're going to get going. And here we go. We're going to try to do this in 30 minutes so we can allow some questions at the end.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you to Orange Room, Room 2, Upper Lake Unified School District 3. We just wanted to put you in the area of Northern California. We are a rural area. We are surrounded by this beautiful lake that you see here, but we're also 2 hours south of the Redwoods, 2 hours west of the Pacific Ocean, 2 hours north of the Bay Area, and 2 hours east of the Sierra foothills. So we can be at all these places and be at home for dinner. So just to let you know, that's how we're nestled in this little beautiful area. Here in Lake County, we still have 7 ancestral tribes that call this home, or they consider this their ancestral homelands. And so those 7 tribes still have land. They have resources here today. Some have residences, and some have income through casinos and other activities for financial. But one of the coolest things about this lake here that you see here is called Clear Lake, is that geologists believe that this lake is 2.5 million years old, being settled here. So what that lets you know is that through inception, we've had Mother Earth, Father Sky, and the Pomo people here in Lake County.
So you saw a beautiful Clear Lake. Upper Lake High School is also nestled between the peaceful waters of Clear Lake and also the Mendocino National Forest. Upper Lake has grown from a quiet frontier town since the 1850s to just over 1,000 in our town, but our district serves the North Shore population of just over 9,000. Our district is made up of 4 schools. We have an elementary, middle, and high school. We also have an alternative education program. Total, we have about 900 students and about 100 employees. We have rich history and rich traditions that you'll see from our presentation that include multiple perspectives. And so we honor and celebrate our history in our communities and our school. We are a rural community, but don't let that confuse you with not being progressive. We are a very student-centered community with multiple generations of families coming through our schools. Some of our graduates, like myself, after a certain amount of time, we come back to serve our community. Some of our graduates don't. They move on, but they stay deeply connected to not only the town of Upper Lake through community work, but our schools. So we have a deep, deep rooted connection. And it's not, we, again, don't confuse our ruralness with our progressive, which you will hear in our presentation.
Different than other districts, I want to give you a little bit quick background. I do come from Southern California. I spent 20 years on Fontana Unified, 43,000 students, so I'm familiar with a large district perspective. We do things a little bit differently in here. It is very one-on-one. So these are our partners. Some of these people are going to be talking to you today in a non-scripted fashion. And you see we have a very strong connection here to our Pomo, the 2 local Pomo tribes. So on the North Shore, where Upper Lake really serves, like we said, about 10,000 residents, about 900 students, we have 2 local Pomo tribes, the Robinson Rancheria, and we have the Habematolel. And today we have Fawn Raves with us. She's the educational director. And Joy Marks, also she's the educational director for Habematolel. And Benai Cromwell, who just introduced us to Upper Lake, he's actually the chair of the tribe for the Robinson Rancheria. So moving right along, let's give you a little bit of background. Upper Lake Unified School District just unified in 2016. We had 2 schools, elementary school and a middle school, that made a 1 school district, a high school district. with the alternate program, made another school district, took them about 11 years of conversation, and we unified in 2016. We started completely from scratch. If you never had an opportunity to start a unified school district complete from scratch, is the best thing ever, because you start everything from the grounds up. We've had some challenges, starting off with having the mission and vision and having to come into one district. Budget concerns, facilities are extremely old. We had to pass bonds. Actually, we're looking like we're going to break ground sometimes in the next couple of weeks in a new building at the elementary school and one at the high school. And also the programs. We were building the programs completely from the grounds up. But one of the biggest things that we want to focus on is the community. So that's what's going to take us into the next steps in here. So I'm going to give it a little bit time here to Fawn. Fawn, please take us through a little bit of background of our community and some of the historical and backgrounds.
Hello, my name is Fawn Rave. I am the Education Director for Robinson Rancheria. I am also a descendant of Robinson Rancheria. So our relationship with our tribal families and our school district is a very work in progress. A lot of our ancestors and our grandmothers and grandfathers and mothers and fathers have gone to school in this district, and they've dealt with the racism and the hurt of these school districts in this community, that we've had to build a relationship and start earning the trust of those. A lot of our children, they live with their grandmothers and they're raised by their grandmothers. And if they are with their parents, they have the trauma of what they've gone through with our school districts, that it's been very hard to get them on board to understand that our school districts are here, they're trying to help. We've worked really hard within the last few years to give a better understanding that the schools aren't just after the money of their children. The schools aren't just trying to collect the dollars. They really care about their children. They really are willing to work with our families. And with the tribes having us education directors there as the liaison, it has really helped build that relationship and a better understanding of what we're trying to work towards together for a healthy future for our youth, and giving them all the support that we can. Benai, I don't know if you want to jump in.
Well, thank you for eloquently putting that out there, that this is a relationship that is healing, and that we are a generation, Fawn and myself and our cousins, that we are a generation that healed that. And so you'll see a little bit later how that came into be. But that's what we're all about here today, and to share that this doesn't have to stay that way, and that Upper Lake has been progressive along with our tribes and be more inclusive into our values and our culture.
We decided to come in and do a new focus. I came on board 4 years ago. There was a Native American Advisory Committee that had started that only had the superintendent as part of that conversation. So when I came on board, I got the pleasure to actually meet Fawn and Joy during my interview process. And it's just from the questions alone, I was able to realize that we need some work. We have some work to do. And we hit the ground running. I think my first week on the job, I had my first meeting with the Native American Advisory Committee. And through our first couple meetings, we realized that, you know what, we cannot be just an advisory forum. We need to really be an action committee. And that's what we did. We changed it, and we put some new set forth how we're going to move forward. And we engaged the different representations that we have here on campuses, and it became a really big collaborative. That's why you see those 14 partners in there. So that's where we started off. Fawn, you want to share a little bit about where was the Native, mindset and how we moved from there?
Yes. So our, like I stated, there wasn't much relationship between the tribes and the school. We started the NAC, which was our Native American Advisory Committee, and it was just going in circles. And then Joy, Marks, and myself, when Dr. Nus joined the school district, we really started pushing forward with, we can't just continue to talk about what we are. We've gotten talked to, our tribes have for years, with no action. We need to start showing them that we're here. We need to start making moves to show that we're going to move forward. We really do care. It's not just words. So the Native American Action Committee started. We moved our meetings from the school to one of the reservations to make it better for the parents and grandparents to interact and join. And they did. They came, they voiced, and we made action on the things that they brought to the table. We made sure we addressed everything that has been brought to our table to show them we are here, we are listening, we hear what you say, and we will do what we can to try to make those things right. Joy, I don't know if you want to touch base a little bit.
I think at this point when Anus came on, we were, we acknowledged that there was not a connection with our Native youth. There was not a connection with our Native families, and that the staff had lacked cultural awareness. So it's obvious that we needed transformation. So like Fawn said, we moved the old NAC from advising to the new NAC that was into action. So what did that entail? What does that look like? We began to bridge that communication, and we did that through the Wolfpack and also having a Native American club. Benai?
Sure. Just a brief history of the Wolfpack. It's a student talking circle. It started in 2017 with myself as a social worker here in the community. So I just wanted to go to where the youth were to start ending cycles, start talking about cycles and ending cycles. So it's a healthy talking circle. It was mostly comprised of Native students, but anybody is welcome, because in our community, some of my best friends are non-Native, and still to this day, our relationships have been growing because of that. So we invited everyone, and our motto is everyone graduates, because we know that's a nice accomplishment at a young age, to make sure that you can have self-confidence and awareness for yourself.
The next step was moving into understanding that we're going to do a cultural transformation. In year 2, we did the Native American Club, and we did our cultural awareness training part 2. And so what I'm going to do in the next few slides here, we're going to walk you through all those processes one by one. So I'm going to go ahead and move us to the Wolfpack. Benai, you want to add any more to the Wolfpack?
Yeah, just a little bit of our activity. So here's a group where we actually had sweatshirts made with our wolf logo. On the side, it said ULHS, and then you had paw prints. Can't really see them, but if you were a sophomore, you had 2 paw prints, because we're going to get you to 4. If you're a freshman, you had 1. So those were purchased for us. But we're a healthy conversation circle, and the youth will lead it. I just come with a little bit of an agenda for the day, and then I let the youth take over. Sometimes it's a community issue. Sometimes it's a state issue. Sometimes it's, national, like voting or gun laws and stuff like that. And then sometimes we do art. That way they have a day of just making some art. We have days where we bring in someone for not sports athletics, but just something about balancing teamwork and playing games. So it's not really heavy all the time in there. And then we've done trips with the Wolfpack specifically to go to college. But I always say that this circle is to help with their balance. It's to help me share them cheat codes that I've learned in my time of actually being at Upper Lake as a graduate, going on to college and coming back home to help. But everyone graduates is our goal. And 2 people last year, one from Colorado got a hold of me and said, Benai did graduate. And another one from a neighboring county at a vocational high school graduated. And he was so happy to tell me. He's in this picture here on the lower left. So we are a team, a club, and a group to help support one another.
We have 11th grader Dina Lonzero here with us to share a few words about her experience in Wolfpack and in club.
Yes. Hello. My experience being involved in Native American Club and Wolfpack was all around fun. Just being involved. The activities we did relating to Native American culture were also like icebreakers for most of the students. And the storytelling from like my Uncle Benai or like fellow students were like very interesting. And the club gave me a lot of college experience from the field trips we would attend, like Humboldt, UC Davis, or Mendocino College. Just very knowledgeable stuff. So that's beneficial for us. And we would have like guest speakers too, like Fawn Ray came in one time and she taught us hand games. And I will continue to be engaged in this type of stuff.
The next thing is we address the cultural discrepancy and the cultural awareness, and that was really, really important for the whole, not only for the community, but mainly for our staff. Our staff really did not have any PD, any professional development in that area. So, Fawn, you want to share a little bit you enjoy about how we went about doing this?
Yeah, so it was very important for us. We hear a lot of cultural sensitivity trainings. We didn't want them just to be sensitive. We wanted our staff to understand. And when we say staff, it's janitor to the superintendent, everybody in our school district to come understand there's not just one tribe. Just because we're on the North Shore and our two tribes are here, we have children that live from one tribe into another, and we're all interconnected and related somehow. And a nephew might live with the aunt and uncle in our district, but they're from Elam across the lake from us. So we wanted our staff to all have an understanding of us, have an understanding of our grandparents, have an understanding of the trauma that they have had their years, and to be able to ask questions and be able to relate to why is your student not sleeping and they're falling asleep in your class? Why is your student have dirty clothes and they feel like it's okay? We wanted them to understand all the traumas that trickle down with our children, and it affects them from what happened years ago or what they're still dealing with. So it was important for us to bring in some locals from our tribes locally around and be able to give that understanding to all of our staff. And they took it in and they asked questions and they brought us into their classes. And it's really expanded from there to where our school district started this. And we will touch base on our Office of Ed for Lake County, but we've then grew to there to where other districts said, we want on that same page. We want to be doing what you guys have started. So this was very important for us. And we didn't just stop there. We're continuing because, staff changes, and we want to just give an update and refresh, and we will continue what we have started.
From that particular training, Amanda is our last year Teacher of the Year for Lake County. She's a Teacher of the Year for us here in the district. Amanda, you want to share your experience from this and what led to the decision you made?
Yes, so I was fairly new to the district when they did this staff cultural awareness training. And I was really moved by what I learned. It was new to me hearing about the historical trauma, and I was learned in that meeting about specific challenges. And I left that meeting saying to myself, okay, I see that there's a need, but I wasn't sure what needed to be done. So back to that action piece. And so from there, I attended the action committee meeting, the following one. And I said in the meeting, like, I heard you, and what do you need? What do you need from me? And they immediately said, we need you to start a Native American club on campus. So we did. We did start a Native American club, working closely with Chairman Cromwell and the Wolfpack group. We started a club that allowed for us to be even more inclusive of all students. So Native American Club is for all students on campus. It allowed for more school-sponsored trips and more school-sponsored activities. So we traveled to motivation days, to college visits that we set up for our group specifically. And then also during the pandemic, we have shifted to having club day time at the high school during the school day. And so that's really helped us be able to reach our students both in Wolfpack and in club during the school day meetings as well.
So since you opened that, Amanda, I just wanted to do a little caveat really quick. Upper Lake Unified, we've been open since August 12th. So we've had 5 days of school, normal, buses driving, dropping kids, serving lunch, delivering lunch. We have 72% of our kids are on campus. Periods, bell rings, but we have tons of PPE, tons of processes. So for us, the school year has been as normal as could be because our family really expressed that's what they wanted to do. So when we say we're on campus like normal. All right, moving on. This is the Wolfpack and Native Club, American Club. You want to talk about some of those slides? I want to go through some pictures and what you're doing there.
Well, this was just a few of the events that we took pictures of. So helping the community here at the school, the art events, and then the hand games that Dina spoke about. So these are just some of those photos of us in action.
Our assistant superintendent of services, also principal of the elementary school, Ms. Stephanie Wayman. Share with us what's happening on your campus.
Absolutely. So what you see here is a presentation that occurred during the month of November prior to needing to go into shelter in place. One of our teachers reached out through Joy and brought in some guest presenters to really share some cultural aspects, not just holidays, birthdays, traditions, but bringing in some cultural experiences. All of the kids got to beat the drum. They all got to understand why and share in that learning experience together. As Benny so graciously started us out giving you a little bit of history of Lake County, we realized that a lot of that history isn't written down, and it doesn't appear in our textbooks, and it doesn't appear in a lot of the lessons that are presented in our classrooms. So our goal is to be able to carry on that oral tradition and make sure that all of our students, whether they are tribally connected or not, are able to understand the history and are able to move forward and share the asset-based lens that all of our students bring into the classroom and share those experiences.
And at the middle school, we have Mike Smith and Fawn were there.
Yes, hello. My name is Mike Smith, the principal of the middle school. And in 2016, Moke Simon, pictured on the left side, was the first tribal member elected to our Lake County Board of Supervisors. And we invited him to come speak to our students, and he was gracious enough and just provided that positive leadership role model to our youth. Also, we, as you've heard with Fawn, we've brought the Native American Club down to the middle school level, and working through the pandemic challenges, doing Zoom meetings, and hopefully getting back to in-person meetings coming into this next year.
And at the high school, do we have Annie?
Yes, Annie Pitniska-Petrie, principal, Upper Lake High School. So at Upper Lake High School, I'm gonna let one of my students do most of the talking, but our next step in this journey is really bringing that culturally relevant pedagogy into all of our classrooms. And we're starting that work with offering a college class that I'm gonna go ahead and let Maddie Young speak to. Go ahead, Maddie.
We just started now our new Native American college class at our campus, high school campus. It was cool because not only did our teacher get to teach us and tell us what he thought about our Native American studies, but I was also able to teach my fellow students about hand games and music and a little bit of what I know about my culture. And we had a lot of guest speakers who told their story in their culture and how they lived through what they did. And yeah, it was very fun and exciting, and it got a lot of students engaged.
So these are some of the activities, if we can go through them really quick, popcorn style between Fawn and Joy and Chairman Conwell. I'll go through the slides, 10, 15 seconds at a time. Go for it.
Okay, so we just, this is just the connection that we have with our schools. We, local colleges, Humboldt, Sac State, UC Davis, they do Native American Empowerment Days, and the school allows us, if now we have the Native American Club, so now, thank you, Amanda, she has taken over and they make the trips, but before it was on the tribes to transport and to take them there, and the school allowed us to let them be absent and it count as them being at school because it's a college activity, it's a Native American activity. So this is a few of the things that we've done over the past few years, attending and showing, we are in a rural area, so we have a couple small community colleges, but taking them to universities and getting them involved there.
All right, one of the biggest thing for us is definitely the schools are the center of the community. This is where everything happens. This is literally, you saw earlier a picture of Main Street, and there's a couple restaurants in there, the fire department, the post office, and so on and so forth. But our schools are open campuses. We don't have fences. They're lit up at night, and everybody comes to the school for whatever we need to do or they need to do. So take it over here. Benai starts talking to this element.
Sure. So I moved to Lake County in 1987, and I was an athlete from a actual urban city. What I noticed is that a lot of my cousins who lived here weren't outgoing like I was. They were better athletes than me. They're smarter students than me. But there was something in the school district that held them back, whether it be personal or whether their family at home telling them, don't play for those teams. Those coaches aren't healthy. You know, they're racist. They don't want you to play. You can't be a starter. But I just wanted to say, when the bridge for our communities in this district has been around sports to allow our children to express themselves, because sports is the field, the court, or the track where everything is even. In the classroom, you know, some might not have the same grades, they might not have the same clothes, they might not have the same hygiene, but on the field, to show your courage, to show your bravery, to show your pride in who you are and your family. Sports has always been that. But we were athletes. And so sometimes coaches could really dampen that. In my experience, having long hair, coach said to me, well, I should have got you a girl softball hat instead, because that way you put your ponytail through it. Stuff like that, quotes like that, just made me not want to try my best. Not for that person. I didn't want to have success, so that coach can take that. So those comments like that were how important sports is to our community and our youth. To be able to school might be hard, but sports is fun. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah, and I would add how powerful this particular slide is. You see Benai Cromwell, who just spoke, and E.J. Crandall, the last two previous chairmen. Benai currently chairman of the Robinson Rancheria. So their leadership stepped up big time to come out and coach our high school baseball team. And the purest form of connection, like Benai said, is sports. And over the next few slides, Dr. Noose, if you can go along, we see Fawn, who spoke, coaching volleyball. We see some of our former students coming back to coach at the lower middle school levels. And
Mike, I would like to add in this slide here really quick that EJ is actually now also on the board of supervisors for the North Shore. He is a voice for us, for the community, for the kids, and so that kind of speaks to the level of leadership and how involved they are in every single day that we do. And you'll see here again, Fawn. This is Fawn doing. Mike, you want to go ahead and tell us?
Yeah, Darren Brown, probably one of our first Native coaches on our campus, and he was tremendous. Tony Arroyo, who works with Habematolel and is a major force in that tribe. Yvonne Quintero, Angie Arroyo, they all have such deep-rooted connections. Raylene Cromwell and Ray Moran, who was our starting quarterback 2 years prior to this, and now helping out coaching at the middle school level.
Okay. Fawn, take us to how we took it to the county level.
Okay, so after Anus joins Upper Lake, Joy and I get a call from Lake County Office of Ed, and they want to know how we can bring this county-wide. So we started the Native American Task Force at first, and then that changed into TYEC, which is our Tribal Youth Education Collaborative. We wanted to get away from that task force because, you know, many think like cops and whatnot. So we brought to the table every school district. They had superintendents, teachers, Native employees from school districts, Native entities around our county. And we sit at this table and we say, what are you guys doing there? What are you guys doing here? What issues do you have with your youth? What are you finding in your community? How can we all work together to make sure our Native students are getting the support they need at home, in the school, on the sports field? How can we all make sure our county, because we have 7 tribes around, that our children are all treated fairly? So this is where the other schools now started doing. Lakeport, Kelseyville, Lower Lake have done some type of cultural classes for their teachers and have continued to work through the pandemic. We've still met. Off of LCOE's our TYEC, COVID was a good thing for us. We had a little time working from home trying to find what's that going to be like. It gave myself and Joy Marks some time to work with Lake County Office of Ed, with Lake County Strong, and they were building a curriculum for teachers to use that are online to how can you still work with your children? How are we going to do this? What's this going to look like? And Rob Young said, hey, We've been talking years at this table for how do we get our local. We don't want the Native American that's in the textbooks. That doesn't tell our local story here. How do we get, because we've been talking years of this curriculum and we just didn't know how to get it going. So ourselves with other representatives from the local tribes, we sat with these people at Lake County Office of Ed, and we finally did it. We have developed a curriculum that Upper Lake Elementary, Upper Lake Middle School, they have used it this past year in their schools, in their classes, and we're not done. We're still moving forward. We're still building curriculum, and this is just mind-blowing. Sorry.
Oh,
I grew up listening to my grandmother's stories, and to be able to show her this, she was amazed. Our elders are so proud of like the connection we have and what has moved forward with our tribes in our school district. So sorry.
If
Oh.
I can piggyback on what Fawn just said, the curriculum that they made is not only tribally connected and culturally relevant as well as accurate, but they were also able to align it to standards. We've been able to roll it out and connect it to our reading and our writing and our math, and we have basketry, and our students are learning language. And we've taken that very rich oral tradition that Fawn was lucky enough to experience and embrace, and we have captured it so that now we can share that tradition with everybody and make sure that it is not lost, but it does continue within our community.
And Fawn, there's no need to be sorry.
oh,
We're definitely not sorry at all. We're happy. We're proud. You know, one of the things that we mentioned earlier is Lake County in the 58 counties in the state of California is the lowest in the social economic element. There are six, it's divided into like 6 communities. You want to really wrap your head around it. You got the Clear Lake, and then you have the North Shore, and then you got like Middletown and Lakeport and Kelseyville. And usually Middletown, Lakeport, and Kelseyville, they kind of a little bit on the top of the socioeconomics. We come like second below them, and then Clear Lake, the actual city of Clear Lake, is on the lowest side. So in community-wise, we are very, very, very low in socioeconomics ability. So we recognize that all the time. We recognize it right away. We knew our kids did not have things that they can inspire with, especially after school. So collectively, the district people, you see me here, you see Mike Smith. Right now, this board, we did the North Shore Youth Club, and we do activities literally for the kids all summer long in every single aspect. From right now, this year, we have angling, fishing, hiking, all that. So that's why we started. Mike, take it from there.
Again, just trying to give the opportunity locally so our youth do not have to travel to other parts of the lake to take part in these type of activities. We want to create that space for our North Shore families.
This is a few slides really quick of our cultural events that we have here, and our teachers, like our kids love it. Our teachers show up, they come to our roundhouse, they come to our California Indian Days, and they enjoy watching our youth, and our youth they love to see their teachers be involved. They love to see them really care about our culture.
so this is an event for graduation. It could be kindergarten, it could be 8th grade promotion, it could be high school or junior college or even college. So here's something we do every spring. It's called To Honor One is to Honor All. And this big banner was my idea so that kids could sign it when they come to the stage. And in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, they'll be signing next to their family members that also signed it. So it's a living banner that say we're still honoring everyone that is able to complete their education and wish them best.
Really quick, this is our youth. It's Youth Outreach Uniting Tribes Through Health that our school really helps us with, and it's programs that are run on break time for kids, spring break, Thanksgiving break, summer break, to keep them engaged, keep them involved. And we talk about healthy relationships, suicide prevention, and we have sports things. We do a basketball tournament, we do a 3-day camp out, we do a volleyball tournament, we do a softball tournament. We just really try to see what the issue is within that time frame, and we have different workshops throughout the events. Yesterday, May 5th, is National MMIW, which is Missing, Murdered, and Indigenous Women's Recognition. The school district worked. We had a group of kids that were excused for most of this week. They worked with the Hope Through Art Foundation, and they came and we did a mural in honor of MMIW, and the picture is of Vanessa Nico, and she's a tribal member of Habematolel that has lost her life to domestic violence. So this was very strong. We did our dedication and revealing yesterday, and our kids danced. And, you know, we've been in a pandemic. We haven't danced or had our culture with us. So it was good to get back out there yesterday and dance, and our kids be a part of this, and the school be willing to back us up and be a part of that with us. These are pictures of her mother and some of her children and family members.
Let this one sink in. So we call this the journey of the 1,000 connections. We are 855 ADA. We have 100 employees. That put us at 955. And you can tell from the pictures, there's about 55 members who are helping us. So we're about 1,000 people making it strong together and building a community from the ground up. So it's the tribes, it's the school, it is the district, and that makes us a different flavor. And thank you for giving us your time. If you have any questions, please, we're all here for you.
Oh.
Hope.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Upper Lake. That was an amazing and very emotional for everybody presentation. Very, very, very inspiring. And I thought the lake was.
I told you we're gonna bring heart, and that's what we feel with. We bring heart.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. I thought the lake was beautiful, but the stories behind it is really, truly inspiring and beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.